Research is a very important component of MUN. Today, I'll be sharing some research tips with you to help you in your research preparations. To get started with research, one of your priorities should be to understand the country that you're representing. Some questions to consider include what type of government your country has, or who your allies are, or what natural resources your country has. Understanding the answers to these questions is really important because it will allow you to most accurately represent your country. For example, the alliances your country currently has with other countries can be a great pathway for forming collaborations with other nations during debate and when it comes to forming solutions. Additionally, depending on the topic, it can be important to understand specific statistics. For example, literacy rates if the topic is related to education, or with the topic pertaining to marine resources, it will be important to learn the geography of your country and to understand if it is a landlocked nation. Aside from country basics, another component to research is the basics of the topic that you'll be discussing. To do this, you should research your topic background. In this part of your research, you should aim to gain a clear understanding of the topic and understand any key terms related to the issue. By the time you finish this part of your research, you should be able to answer the questions of what causes this issue, who or what countries are most affected by the issue, and where is this issue the most prevalent. A great method to use to help you gain a full understanding of country basics is the SPEAR method. When using this method, you will look at resources such as speeches, which might include any speeches that the government of your country has made regarding the topic. Programs. Has your government or relevant NGOs implemented any programs to resolve the issue? Events. Has your country hosted or attended any summits related to the topic? Agreements. Has your country supported any UN resolutions about the topic? Reports. Has your country published or contributed to any reports that have information about the topic? The SPEAR method is a great framework for you to approach topic background research. The next aspect of what to include in your research is past international action. This pertains to what the United Nations or the international community has already done about the topic at hand. Since the ultimate goal of an MUN debate is to formulate a list of solutions for the topic, you want to make sure that the solutions you come up with are as effective as possible. By examining past international action, this will allow you to understand what solutions have previously been implemented and whether or not they have been successful. Past international action can come in the form of UN resolutions, treaties, or actions carried out by relevant NGOs. The fourth component of what to include in your research is more specific to the country that you represent. It's a culmination of your research on country basics and topic background. Your country's policy involves researching to what extent your country has been impacted by the topic, any past actions carried out by the government pertaining to this topic, and any international action that your country has either supported or rejected. The last component of what to include in your research are possible solutions to the topic, which is the ultimate goal of MUN. One thing to note is that the solutions should pertain to the international community, rather than solutions that your country wants to implement, since the aim of the UN is to foster international collaboration. This is a part of your research where you can use your creativity to brainstorm solutions. Obviously, it's important to make sure that your solutions are as realistic as possible. One way to do this is by examining and evaluating past solutions, which can be found under the international action part of your research. Here are some general tips on sourcing and what resources to utilize. First, it's really important to keep track of all the resources that you use. One way to do this is by keeping all your resources on a separate page or document. This is important because it can allow you to always refer back to any sources or act as a fact check. Furthermore, it's important to make sure that the information you use is credible. At times, the resources you find online can be inaccurate or biased. Such sites include Quora, Wikipedia, or YouTube, as they run on community contributions, and there is no guarantee for the accuracy of these resources. Some credible sites that you can refer to are listed here. The CIA World Factbook and BBC Country Profiles are great resources to use while researching country basics. One tip I have in the case that you're struggling to find relevant resources is to refer to the references section of a relevant Wikipedia page. While Wikipedia runs on community contributions and may not be entirely accurate, there's a whole host of fantastic and reliable resources that have been referenced and are listed in the references section. When you're searching on the internet, millions of results will come up, but you want to be as specific as possible to get credible information. If you search by domain, you will only get information within that domain. This function will limit your search. Here I have an example of domain searching. When I search, for example, the word education, over 5 billion results show up. However, let's narrow down the search to only UN resources. In order to do this, I will do that by domain searching. All I have to type in is sites followed by a colon, and then the domain name that I want to refer to specifically. Once I do that, only specific UN resources regarding education will show up. Now, the 5 billion results have been pared down to 1 billion results. Although this is still a significantly large amount of resource, there are many other varieties of this. For example, by searching with .gov or by the country that you're representing. Now, as we've discussed before, it's really important to avoid uncredible and unreliable resources. If you're struggling to determine whether or not a source is credible, a tool to use is the media bias chart. You can access it at this link. The CRAB test is also another measure of credibility that you can use with your sources. This acronym stands for currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. By going through this list and asking yourselves the following questions, you can determine if your source is credible or not. Currency explores the timeliness of the research, when it was published, and if there have been any updates since. Relevance is the importance of the information for your needs. While there are tons of great resources, is this resource relevant to your needs? Authority examines the source of the information. Accuracy evaluates the reliability, truthfulness, and correctness of the contents. Purpose questions why the information exists. Overall, this test is a great resource to refer to if you need help determining the accuracy of a source. Lastly, it should be noted that plagiarism is not tolerated at MUN at home. To plagiarize is to take someone else's idea and pretend as if it's your own. Some ways to do this include copying and pasting from sources and websites without crediting it. In order to avoid plagiarism, you should cite your sources, include quotations, and paraphrase, which is when you rewrite ideas from a specific source, yet change it into your own words. One resource to refer to is a plagiarism checker, which will help double check and ensure your work is unique by displaying a percentage of how much of your content has been plagiarized. In the event that an assignment is plagiarized, a delegate will be notified immediately and would be required to resubmit the assignment. Thank you, and I hope you found this presentation useful. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to your mentors.